Oh, hello everyone. Yeah, I've got wet hair. Just got out of the shower, but figured it was time to return once again to the Anarchist Handbook. It has certainly been a while, and yeah, let's get back to it. But I'm going to have to say now that we're almost done, and I'm not saying this to discourage anyone from purchasing this book. And I adore Michael Malice. I'm looking forward to reading some of his other books. But at this point, about 80% through, I've had enough. I understand it's intended to be a historical survey, and it is certainly doing that. And I can understand why Michael Malice would have thought it was such an honor to document these long ago anarchist voices. But for me, I've had enough, particularly since a lot of them are commies, and I just don't enjoy commies. But we're going to go through this anyway, not where I left off for this show, but where I left off to begin next one is chapter 17. So we're doing 15 and 16. I really didn't highlight that much to talk about because, again, did I say it already? I've had enough. But there are still gems to be mined, and I haven't decided what book we're going to be doing next. So, next one, and I'm going to mangle this name as I do. Voltairine de Cleyre, 1909, so we're getting a little bit more current. Says, more popular with the unwashed masses than with true blue Americans in the 19th and early 20th century, the anarchist idea was often caricatured as an invasive foreign ideology, and I could see why they would think that. The anarchist, Voltairine de Cleyre we're just going to say Voltairine from now on, took pains to explain that anarchism and a hatred of the state is in fact far more American and had far more of a tradition on American soil than most ideas that were being bandied about in her time. What I really like is a lot of these anarchist authors, so I'm not going to say a lot, but a statistically significant portion, considering that most people view anarchists as men. I obviously buck that trend, as do a lot of women I know, but the popular conception doesn't fit that. In 1765, over a decade before the Declaration of Independence, Patrick Henry, give me liberty or give me death, stood up in the Virginia House of Burgesses and basically said that King George was asking to be shot. Oh my goodness. And concluded with, if this be treason, make the most of it. Here, Voltairine, we're sticking with, makes the case that anarchism is far more American than that foreign dessert, apple pie. Okay, I like that so far. That was a good intro. Forgot about that. It's been a while. She says, they have no idea, and it's talking about, let me see, back here, the Revolutionary War. They have no idea why it should have been called a revolution instead of the English War or any similar title. It's the name of it. That's all. It's funny, I was making kind of that same point about the Civil War. I think that's a complete misnomer. To me, a civil war is when multiple factions within one country vie for control of the one government. A secession and forming a new country and then getting invaded by one's former country is not a civil war. It can be lots of things. You don't have to think it's good or bad. I'm just really dealing in terminology. I don't think that's accurate. And name worship, both in man and child, has acquired such mastery of them that the name American Revolution is held sacred, though it means to them nothing more than successful force, while the name Revolution, applied to a further possibility, is a specter detested and abhorred. Oh my God, that's what I've been saying so long. You know, people like to, when I talk just about my various ideas, like, I don't think I've been called a traitor more times than in the past year. And I'm like, we are a nation founded upon insurrectionists, revolutionaries, and traitors, right? How do you think England felt, you loyalist you? Thus, they took their starting point for deriving a minimum of government upon the same sociological ground that the modern anarchist derives the no government theory, viz., that equal liberty is the political ideal. The difference lies in the belief, on the one hand, that the closest approximation to equal liberty might be best secured by the rule of the majority in those matters involving united action of any kind, which rule of the majority they thought it possible to secure by a few simple arrangements for election. And on the other hand, the belief that majority rule is both impossible and undesirable, that any government, no matter what its forms, will be manipulated by a very small minority. Yep. As the development of the states and the United States governments has strikingly proved. Now remember, this is in 1909. Think of how much worse things have gotten. Which, as officials in power, they will openly disregard, to do as they please, and that even if the majority could be imposed, it would also be subversive of equal liberty, which may be best secured by leaving to the voluntary association of those interested in the management of matters of common concern, without coercion of the uninterested or the opposed. Confidence, said the revolutionists who adopted the Kentucky resolutions, is everywhere the parent of despotism. Free government is founded in jealousy, not in confidence. It is jealousy, not confidence, which prescribes limited constitutions to bind down those whom we are obliged to trust with power. Our Constitution has accordingly fixed the limits. Yeah, that's worked out well. To which, with power, our Constitution, oh, I already said that, has accordingly fixed the limits, and no further our confidence may go. And we have seen that confidence is completely misplaced. In questions of power, let no more be heard of confidence in man, but bind him down from mischief by the chains of the Constitution, which did not work. And then another correspondent, she said, God forbid that we should ever be 20 years without such a rebellion. What country can preserve its liberties if its rulers are not warned from time to time that the people preserve the spirit of resistance? That is so true. Let them take up arms. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. It is its natural manure. That needs to be said more often. I'm a pacifist, quite obviously. I don't believe in taking up arms. That's a religious position. Don't come for me. But this is the lifeblood of our nation right here. It is an American tradition that a standing army is a standing menace to liberty. In Jefferson's presidency, the army was reduced to 3,000 men. And now, what has anarchism to say to all this bankruptcy of republicanism? This modern empire that has grown up on the ruins of our early freedom. We say this, that the sin our fathers sinned was that they did not trust liberty wholly. They thought it possible to compromise between liberty and government, believing the latter to be a necessary evil. And the moment the compromise was made, the whole misbegotten monster of our present tyranny began to grow. Instruments which are set up to safeguard rights become the very whip with which the free are struck. Woof! Baby doll. I love that. Okay, I take back everything I said at the beginning of this video. I'm not bored with this chapter. I forgot about this one. This one is fire. This one is fire. Okay, now we are moving on to Emma Goldman, whom obviously I have heard of. And I read this, I think, 2 days ago and wasn't terribly impressed. But Voltairine, girlfriend, you got it going on. But let's see. Maybe I just forgot because, I'm getting old. Emma Goldman. If anarchism believed in rulers, then Emma Goldman would be the undisputed queen. Oh, really? I'm a big fan so far of Voltairine. The tiny woman took on the federal and state governments throughout most of her life, eventually challenging Woodrow Wilson, I like that, and his Great War, and getting deported for her radical views by a young J. Edgar Hoover. Well, figures, right? Once in the Soviet Union, she lost very little time telling Lenin to his face that what he was doing was wrong. At various times, the most hated woman in America and the face of assassination, Red Emma's provocative life and ideals still radicalize people today. So I have forgotten from a couple days ago. Seems like she's socialist, perhaps. Let's see. Never before did the corruption, the complete rottenness of our government stand so thoroughly exposed. Never before were the American people brought face to face with the Judas nature of the political body, which has claimed for years to be absolutely beyond reproach, as the mainstay of our institutions, the true protector of the rights and liberties of the people. True. If she was a socialist, I probably just didn't highlight any of that because I got real tired of socialism. You know, reading through this, I don't think I highlighted much. Yeah, actually, I've just got one more passage. But let me tell you, that Voltaire's got me fired up. All right, this is the last paragraph I have from Emma Goldman, and we'll talk about where we're going from here. And I'm really thinking about what book should I cover next. The most unpardonable sin in society is independence of thought. That this should be so terribly apparent in a country whose symbol is democracy is very significant of the tremendous power of the majority. Wendell Phillips said it 50 years ago. In our country of absolute democratic equality, public opinion is not only omnipotent, it is omnipresent. There is no refuge from its tyranny. Ooh, this is so good. And the furnace just came on. Give me a second. Oh boy. See, you get the unedited videos on my Patreon channel. So Wendell Phillips said it 50 years ago, in our country of absolute democratic equality, public opinion is not only omnipotent, it is omnipresent. There is no refuge from its tyranny. There is no hiding from its reach. And the result is that if you take out the old Greek lantern and go about to seek among 100, you will not find a single American who has not, or does not fancy at least he has something to gain or lose in his ambition, his social life, or business from the good opinion and votes of those around him. And I would love to think I'm immune to that. I think I'm a bit more immune than like your average person, where I really honestly don't care a lot what a lot of people think of me. But nobody is completely immune from that. And even if in your mind you don't care, you are vulnerable in your livelihood and in other areas of your life. And the consequence is that instead of being a mass of individuals, each one fearlessly blurting out his own conviction as a nation compared to other nations, we are a mass of cowards. More than any other people, we are afraid of each other. Evidently, we have not advanced very far from the condition that confronted Wendell Phillips. And boy, that is even so much more true today. Okay, well, this was more exciting than I thought it would be. I forgot. Woo! So where we're going next is chapter 17, which is Charles Robert Plunkett, 1914. So this is arranged chronologically, quite obviously. I must have forgotten that as well because I'm old. And next is Morris and Linda Tannehill. So the Plunkett chapter is super short. It's only like 3 pages. And the Tannehill one, let's see, that goes on a while. And after that is David Friedman, who we're familiar with. So we've got a couple more chapters to go after that, and we will continue on. I appreciate any of your suggestions for where we should go next, so I'm not buying any new books. I've got a million that I haven't read, and I'm trying to think what really has captured my attention lately, so I'm just going to have to give some thoughts to that. I have not bought Michael Malice's The White Pill yet, but that would probably be a very good one to read as well. All right, until next time, mi guapas de libertad. And here we go. Let me look for the off key. So unedited.